Слава Україні, шановні колеги! Я Любов Цукор. Сьогодні з вами під час першого виступу нашого предметного інтенсиву для вчителів англійської мови. Я розумію, що під час першого виступу ви сподівались побачити не мене. Від початку ми анонсували виступ пані Анастасії Шамрай на 16 годину, але, на жаль, пані Анастасія захворіла, сьогодні не зможе перед вами виступити, але виступ обов'язково відбудеться трохи згодом. Ми про це повідомили сьогодні листами і в наших месенджерах. Тому тему, яку вона хотіла розкрити, а саме розмовні активності під час уроків, вправи конкретні, приклади активності, як все це втілити онлайн та офлайн. Цю тему обов'язково ми до неї повернемося. Пані Анастасія, як видужає, обов'язково розкаже. Поділиться власним досвідом, як це в неї відбувається, як ви можете реалізувати ці ідеї на власних уроках. Тому дочекайтеся обов'язково, ми сповістимо за декілька днів про точну дату переносу. Сподіваюся на ваше розуміння, оскільки зараз в нас паралельно з війною ще і зі здоров'ям можуть виникати проблеми в зв'язку з різким похолоданням. Тому ось така ситуація. Проте, щоб ви не чекали годину наступних виступів, ми вирішили розказати вам, що нагадати про можливості на урок для вчителів англійської мови. І я з радістю поділюся всіма здобутками, які вже є на сьогодні на сайті. Послухаю ваші ідеї, чого вам ще не вистачає, чого вам ще хотілося. Тому, якщо у вас будуть запитання, ідеї, обов'язково їх пишіть. Також окремо дякую кожному за те, що знайшли можливість приєднатися до прямого ефіру нашого предметного інтенсиву. І протягом літа ми зверталися до предметних конференцій в контексті, передусім, 5 класу НУШ, але так само говоримо і про окремі предмети, і, зокрема, англійську мову в контексті викладання в сучасних умовах. Сучасні умови, на жаль, настільки нетипові і небуденні для нас, що будь-який досвід, він є цінним, і будь-які ідеї напрацювання стануть у пригоді. Чи ми онлайн навчаємося, чи у нас змішане навчання, чи офлайн, чи ми з гуртком працюємо, чи ми індивідуально працюємо з кожним учнем, чи у нас клас на 45 дітей. Всі ідеї, весь досвід цінний і потрібен. Тому радо поділимося протягом цієї конференції. Такої, щодо організаційних моментів, ми сьогодні працюватимемо до 19 години орієнтовно, як і анонсували, з 16 до 19. А окремо виступ пані Анастасії напишемо вам, сповістимо, коли він відбудеться. Запис усіх абсолютно виступів, як завжди, буде доступний, як і презентації до кожного із виступів. Тому ви зможете переглянути, або якщо щось пропустите, або якщо захочете собі щось нагадати. Все буде вже буквально після завершення конференції, доступне до завантаження, до перегляду, до скачування. І все залежить, звісно, від того, як швидко YouTube працює відео, але зазвичай це відбувається доволі швидко, тому довго чекати не доведеться. Але всі навчальні матеріали для вас будуть відкриті вже після завершення заходу. Можете писати запитання, ставити запитання, я радо на них відповідатиму, якщо у вас такі виникатимуть по ходу. І я бачу їх у чаті. Далі, якщо я раптом щось пропускаю, мої колеги обов'язково мені продублюють це запитання. Якщо щось трапляється там технічного характеру, обов'язково напишіть, колеги проконсультують, що зробити, а також пишіть до служби підтримки. Все має бути добре. В будь-якому разі відкриті до діалогу і можемо швиденько все вже полагодити, і як раптом щось буде не так. Так, стосовно ще тих виступів, які сьогодні заплановані. О 17 годині перед вами виступить пані Ганна Дудіч, яка працює цього року з 5 класами НУШ, і вже має перше враження про те, яким чином саме вибудовувати стратегію навчальну, на що звертати увагу, на що спиратися, які ресурси, які активності використовувати, щоб нушенят тримати і навчати. Якщо ви не викладаєте в 5 класах і думаєте, що це, в принципі, буде-не буде, але мені це не цікаво, обов'язково відвідайте цей виступ, оскільки він актуальний абсолютно для кожного із вчителів. По-перше, активності різноманітні, по-друге, ресурси, які є абсолютно універсальними, і ви можете їх до власного досвіду прилаштувати, скажімо так. Далі, якщо цього року у вас немає 5 класу НУШ, то так може трапитися, що наступного у вас буде 6 клас НУШ, або у вас будуть там початкова школа НУШ. Можуть виникати непередбачувані ситуації, ви в будь-якому разі будете знати, що робити, як працювати і на що спиратися. Тому обов'язково відвідайте. Нехай вас не відлякує там англійська мова саме для 5 класів НУШ, це універсальний виступ для кожного зі спікерів. Далі, о 18-й годині відбудеться виступ пані Євгенії Костенко, яка буде розказувати про дистанційну взаємодію в сучасних умовах під час уроків, ось буквально тут і зараз, в умовах війни, як працювати з Zoom, дошкою, іншими додатками, щоб якщо ми працюємо онлайн, дистанційно, щоб не відчувався брак взаємодії, комунікації, щоб можна було ефективно подати матеріал і перевірити його. Які ще сервіси можна використати, які підходи, прийоми. Все, що стосується цікавинок дистанційної взаємодії саме в контексті викладання англійської мови. Обов'язково дочекайтеся і цей виступ, і закликаю вас бути активними і ставити запитання нашим спікерам, оскільки кожне слово, кожна ідея, кожна думка, порада, все це здобуто на власному досвіді, і це те, чим хочеться ділитися з колегами, аби робити навчальний процес більш ефективним, аби полегшувати життя. Тому не соромтеся, будьте активними і будемо уже тоді комунікувати. Я до вас з вами десь орієнтовно ще хвилин 40, я так думаю. В будь-якому разі ми говоримо про можливості на урок для вчителів англійської мови. І якщо ви часто буваєте на наших конференціях, ви знаєте, що виступи десь по 50 хвилин орієнтовно тривають до 50 хвилин і маємо невеличку перерву між виступами. Тому на це так само розраховуйте. Так, щодо можливостей на урок для вчителів англійської мови. Від початку, ще там перед тим, як почати за презентацією йти, хочу сказати таку важливу річ, що для вчителів іноземних мов, передусім англійської мови, ми створили цілий напрям, в якому збираємо всі матеріали для педагогів, які, власне, викладають дисципліну цю, і там конференції, курси, вебінари, стільки досвіду, що можна як почати сісти, дивитися, і на це буде доволі багато часу витрачено. І я розумію, що з навантаженням педагогів не завжди вдається відстежувати всі оновлення, всі цікавинки, все, що нове з'являється, або ж забувається те, що хотілося б переглянути. Ну і, власне, саме ось ця думка підштовхнула ще раз нагадати вам про можливості на урок для вчителів англійської мови. Бо сьогодні рахувала, і потім статистику покажу більше, у нас на сьогодні близько 60 тисяч тестів створено суто з позначкою англійська мова. Це якщо є прив'язка до предмету. Уявіть собі масштаби матеріалів, які для вас є, і які, можливо, ви не використовуєте. Тому маю надію, що виступ буде і цікавим, і корисним. Нагадаю, що якщо у вас є якісь запитання, побажання, можете писати їх у чаті. Тож, можливості на уроку я поділила, умовно кажучи, за розділами сайту. Це такий розділ, як це найбільший розділ, в принципі, підвищення кваліфікації, який нараховує такі підрозділи, як вебінари, конференції та курси. Далі, бібліотека розробок з шаленою кількістю готових матеріалів до уроків, онлайн-тести, журнал, проєкти і олімпіади. Ключові блоки, за якими ми сьогодні пройдемо. В презентації я залишаю посилання на найбільш... на все не можу залишити посилання, бо вся презентація – це будуть суцільні скріншоти і посилання на 100 слайдів. Я краще покажу, як все це шукати на сайті, що знайти, як знайти і як можна використовувати. Підемо з першого наймасштабнішого розділу. Як я говорила, у нас є окремий напрям для вчителів англійської мови. Він у нас називається іноземна мова, в тому числі для вчителів англійської мови. І ми туди розміщуємо всі тематичні вебінари, конференції та курси. Посилання я додала в презентацію, але разом із тим покажу на сайті. Якщо ви на головній сторінці нашого сайту, то прогортайте трохи вниз і напрями підвищення кваліфікації. Ви одразу побачите іноземна мова. Ось, тут серед подій, так, поки закрию це, серед подій вже мигає наша з вами зустріч сьогоднішня, і можна побачити заплановані події і ті, які вже відбулися і зберігаються на сайті в записі. Ось така, насправді їх більше доволі, тому можна розглядати окремо. Наприклад, перепрошую, ще відволікаюся на чат. Серед фільтрів можна обрати, наприклад, курси, і одразу система запропонує курс пані Анастасії Шамрай, який ми виклали не так давно, це відбулося влітку. І цей курс стосується декількох найважливіших скілів. Напевно, що наголос я неправильно поставила. Але в будь-якому разі він стосується розвитку навичок говоріння, письма, запам'ятовування, сприятиме розвитку компетентностей і формуванню компетентностей, читання. Зміст зараз ви можете бачити до реєстрації, одразу побачити, з чого складається цей курс. І короткі змістовні блоки, тести до них, творчі завдання, різноманітні цікавинки. Ви, як людина зареєстрована на сайті, користувач сайту, ви можете зареєструватися на курсі. Просто, як бачите, на цьому аккаунті я не була зареєстрована попередньо на курс, і я натиснула «Зареєструватися», і переді мною вже відкрилися всі навчальні матеріали, які є частиною цього курсу повністю. Традиційно на всіх курсах у нас є перший блок інформаційний, який розказує, як пройти цей курс, власне. Якщо серед вас є, якщо у вас є якісь запитання стосовно, можете одразу їх ставити. І якщо не важко, можете написати, чи хтось із вас проходив курс Анастасії Шамрай для вчителів англійської мови. Так, бачу запитання від пані Надії. Свідоцтва матеріали будуть одразу доступні. Якщо ви про свідоцтво та матеріали до нашого інтенсиву, то вони будуть доступні одразу після завершення нашого з вами спілкування о 19-й годині. Можливо, трошечки раніше. Тобто, коли завершиться фактичне навчання. Що стосується курсу, правила курсу розписані. Усі навчальні матеріали, вони для вас так само є доступними одразу. Натискаєте і вже ознайомитися з матеріалами. Зараз вимкну звук. Ось. Пані Анастасія, побажаємо їй швидшого одужання, але в будь-якому разі ми можемо всі відео, всі матеріали одразу переглянути. І не забувайте, якщо ви навчаєтесь на курсі, відслідковувати і фіксувати власний прогрес. Тобто, якщо ви засвоїли блок рідінг і ви, в принципі, все добре зрозуміли, поставте пташечку, що ви вивчили, і прогрес курсу він буде тут збільшуватися автоматично. Далі, коли у вас, так само безстроково до всіх цих навчальних матеріалів, до додаткових презентацій, в PDF-форматі та інших додаткових матеріалів, корисні посилання, зокрема, використані матеріали, все це ви можете повертатися до цих матеріалів тоді, коли вам зручно, комфортно і коли на те виникає потреба. Якщо вам окремо необхідно свідоцтво і про проходження цього курсу, то це окрема послуга, доступ до фінального іспиту та свідоцтва про проходження курсу. Але всі навчальні матеріали, все це для вас є завжди відкритим і доступним. Це принципова позиція. Тобто, перш ніж щось замовити, придбати, ви можете навчитися, дізнатися і зрозуміти, власне, з чим ви працюєте і яка результативність для вас проходження курсу. Далі, програма курсу, так само вона доступна одразу, її можна ознайомитися, завантажити, почитати і так само для себе зробити висновки про те, наскільки для вас цей курс є цікавим, корисним і потрібним. Дякую моїм колегам за те, що дали посилання на цей курс. Знову ж таки, всі курси, які є на нашому сайті, вони працюють за тим самим принципом. Ви знаходите для вас цікаву тему, наприклад, інтерактивне навчання, знайомитеся зміст, матеріали зі спікером, і далі вирішуєте, реєструватися чи не реєструватися. Зареєструвалися, одразу всі матеріали для навчання доступні. Навчайтеся в комфортних, зручних для вас умовах. І тоді, коли ніхто не буде підганяти, що ви маєте там терміново за 5 годин всі матеріали вивчити. Ні, ви можете повертатися стільки разів, скільки вам потрібно. Стільки часу вивчати, скільки вам потрібно. І далі потім зможете повертатися до запису. Тобто, навчання може тривати в комфортний для вас абсолютно час. Далі, що стосується конференцій у напрямі іноземна мова. В записі я намагалася ось відслідкувати для себе, скільки всього виступів було присвячено англійській мові. Насправді їх набагато більше, ніж конференції, оскільки ми запрошували спікерів, які б розказували про англійську мову на різноманітні заходи, на конференції, які стосуються розвитку мислення, для дистанційного навчання. І я розкажу потім, як і їх так само знайти. Але ось за фільтром конференції ви бачите, щонайменше у записі 7 активностей, 7 масштабних подій, в яких участь брали там від 3 до 5 спікерів. І попередня наша зустріч, вона відбулася у травні. Ми планували конференцію 24 лютого, але, як ви розумієте, що вона не відбулася, і ми змогли її провести, але провели у травні, і ось ця конференція, вона доступна, ви так само можете її переглянути. Всі матеріали, і вони є актуальними, вони є корисними, вони є такими, що ґрунтуються виключно на власному досвіді. І так само свідоцтва, якщо ви за них замовляєте, вони будуть датовані тою датою, коли було замовлення, а не тоді, коли була проведений той чи інший захід. Це за умови, якщо захід уже відбувся. Те ж саме і на вебінарах, бо це вважається день, коли ви скористалися послугою. Тому не хвилюйтеся, якщо ви бачите, що конференція відбулася 21-го, в січні 21-го року, і то вона більш не актуальна, зовсім ні. Ви знайомитеся з актуальними матеріалами цікавими, і на вашому документі відображатиметься дата фактичного користування послугою. Так, далі. Вебінари. Вебінарів іще більше. І серед авторів вебінарів, як і серед спікерів конференцій, це добре знайомі вам спікери, які і сьогодні так само перед вами виступлять. Це і пані Ганна Дудіч. Ось нещодавно вона так само розказувала і про те, як почати роботу в 5 класі НУШ. І ми продовжуємо цю тему розвивати для того, щоб кожен із вас міг ознайомитися з досвідом колеги-практика. Так, теми загалом ви бачите зараз перед собою на екрані. Всі вебінари так само можна зайти, ознайомитися зі змістом, з тим, хто викладає, хто ділиться досвідом, і потім ви можете зареєструватися на цей вебінар. Якщо раптом ви випадково зареєструвалися і вам це не цікаво, ви завжди можете відмінити власну реєстрацію і не заплутатися серед цих активностей, в яких ви берете участь. Ще один такий лайфхак, напевно, хоча це не лайфхак, це функціональна можливість сайту. В розділі, в вашому особистому кабінеті є розділ підвищення кваліфікації. І тут ви можете побачити всі вебінари, на які ви вже зареєстровані. Які у вас успіхи в проходженні, чи ви переглядали, чи ви написали відгук, бо відгуки – це так само дуже важливо. Ми просимо вас писати відгуки на конференції, на курси, на вебінари. Це допомагає нам вибудовувати власну траєкторію і залучати до роботи те, що буде для вас цікавим так само. Те ж саме з конференціями. Ось, будь ласка, наша сьогоднішня зустріч. Можна залишити буде відгук потім і ось отак поставити 5 зірочок і написати, що ви думаєте про цей захід. Буквально секунда справи, а для нас це такий маяк стосовно того, чи все ми правильно зробили, чи потрібно проаналізувати роботу, таким чином щось скоригувати. Далі, стосовно розділу курсів, то тут ще такий нюанс додається – прогрес. Ви бачите свій прогрес. Ось курс, про який ми щойно говорили, курс пані Анастасії Шамрай, показано, що я на 14% на цей момент засвоїла матеріали курсу. Тобто я не відслідкувала, або, можливо, я вже все вивчила, але я не поставила пташечки. Це сигнал, що я маю повернутися на курс, продовжити навчання, або продовжити навчання, якщо я ще не все подивилась, не з усім ознайомилася, або ж відмітити, що я вже з цим знайома. Це важливо, бо інколи у користувачів виникають запитання, чому я все зробив, склав фінальний тест, всі проміжні тести, але в мене там не завантажується свідоцтво. В чому проблема? В тому, що прогрес ще не повністю відмічений і може бути пропущена одна пташечка якась, яка показує, що ви ще не до кінця ознайомилися з матеріалом. Але це все дуже швидко вирішується, щонайменше простим зверненням до служби підтримки. Ми там радо підкажемо і допоможемо з усім розібратися. Далі, якщо ми вже залишаємося на сайті, але ми зараз повернемось на нього, в те, про що я щойно говорила, я додала посилання на різноманітні ефіри, записи на курс, презентацію, і ви зможете це переглянути. Так само ви можете скористатися скористатися пошуком на сайті і подивитися, що у нас за пошуком знаходиться, які відеоматеріали. Так, і нехай. Зараз ми ще отак можемо зробимо 18. Так, 18 варіантів активностей, вебінари і ось те, що білим, це переважно виступи на конференціях. Те, що я говорила, що окрім того, що ми говоримо на предметних конкретних конференціях про англійську мову, ми ще залучаємо спікерів до роботи на більш загальних заходах. Тому так само можете таким чином шукати. Якщо, я прекрасно розумію, що не завжди є можливість відслідковувати оновлення. Не соромтеся написати до служби підтримки і запитати, чи є щось нове, чи є щось цікаве, або ж запропонувати себе як спікера. Це так само хороша ідея, чому би і ні. Поділитися досвідом – це завжди добре. Не соромтеся звернутися до нас, ми допоможемо знайти, підкажемо, де шукати і яким чином працювати із сайтом. Так, це... До речі, зверну вашу увагу, зараз я так само звернула увагу і прокоментую. У чаті зараз з'явилося опитування, яким із інструментів комунікації ви найчастіше користуєтеся, коли спілкуєтеся з колегами, з вашими учнями, чи, можливо, приватні комунікації. І там варіанти Viber, Telegram і WhatsApp. Наприклад, я Viber не дуже люблю і не мій це месенджер, я переважно користуюся Telegram. Але розумію, що у педагогів це, можливо, інакша ситуація, і там спеціально говорять створювати вайбер-чати. Тому нам буде цікаво для статистик, для нашої статистики, напишіть, будь ласка, яким із месенджерів ви користуєтеся. Дякую і перепрошую за оф-топ. Так, є. Якщо вам заважатиме це повідомлення, ви не хочете відповідати, просто натисніть 3 крапочки і закрити. І дякую всім, хто відповіли. Наступне, про що хотілося б поговорити, це бібліотека розробок. Буду вдячна. Дякую за вашу активність. Чи користуєтесь, напишіть, будь ласка, чи ви користуєтеся розробками з бібліотеки на урок. Перша розробка взагалі додалася до бібліотеки в листопаді 2017 року. Скоро ми будемо святкувати 5 років з часу додавання першої розробки до бібліотеки. І за цей час, конкретно з позначкою «Англійська мова», додано понад 24 тисячі матеріалів. Дякую за ваші плюсики. Якщо раптом ще не використовуєте, то обов'язково зазирніть до бібліотеки. І ви можете додавати власні розробки, можете користуватися матеріалами колег, оскільки це простір вільного обміну досвідом, взаємодії між вчителями з усієї країни. Так само за кожну розробку ви можете завантажити сертифікат, дипломи, різноманітні нагороди. І ви можете оцінювати матеріали колег, бо більшість матеріали проходять премодерацію, але ми не завжди встигаємо зреагувати, наприклад, на порушення. І якщо ви знаходите якийсь матеріал, який порушує правила сайту, або є для вас образливим, або таким, що не відповідає назва заголовкові, так буває, що поплутали і не той матеріал додали, ви можете так само на це звернути увагу. Дякую, що користуєтеся, і дуже приємно, що серед вас, серед слухачів сьогоднішніх, у нас багато шанувальників на урок. Так от, бібліотека. І, хтось додавав, тут у нас англійська мова, якраз найсвіжіший матеріал. Так, зараз закрию інші вкладки. І ви можете, якщо оцінити, якщо вам все подобається, ну, в принципі, добре. І завантажили собі матеріал, ось він є. А після того, як ви завантажили, ви можете оцінити його, чи це хороший матеріал, чи ні, і можете залишити свій відгук. Відгуки ми так само переглядаємо і звертаємо увагу, аналізуємо, і якщо є якісь скарги виникають, ми на це дуже швидко реагуємо і намагаємося одразу або не редагувати, звертати увагу на те, що там не так, і вже за подальшим алгоритмом виконуємо ті чи інші дії з розробкою. Якщо ви побачили хороший матеріал, і він вам дуже подобається, але ви ще, просто зараз він вам не потрібен, поставте ось тут пташечку «Зберегти на потім». І в збережених розробках потім ви знайдете цю розробку і повернетеся до неї. Якщо вона вам уже буде не потрібна, просто знімаєте цей прапорець і ви вже не будете так прив'язані до цього матеріалу. Так. Дякую за ваші відповіді. І дякую, серед користувачів, сьогоднішніх учасників, більшість користуються Viber. Дуже цікава статистика, дякуємо. Так, як тоді користуватися пошуком? В принципі, ви розумієте, я думаю, можна за класом відфільтрувати, за предметом, можна додати пошуковий запит, можна загалом за пошуком по всьому сайту. Приблизний алгоритм взаємодії в розділі тестів. І трохи статистики, буквально трохи, понад 61 тисяча тестів з позначкою англійська мова сьогодні є в бібліотеці тестів. І це фантастична цифра, насправді ми дуже вдячні за довіру і за вашу активність. І, відповідно, більшість з цих тестів можна собі клонувати, працювати з ними, можна створювати власні, можна задавати як домашню роботу, працювати в режимі реального часу. Що особливо цінно для вчителів англійської мови, трансформувати в флеш-картки, вивчати нову лексику, наприклад, або перевіряти знання. Я думаю, що вчителі якраз таки англійської мови якнайкраще розуміють, для чого потрібні флеш-картки. Це можна використовувати, і, власне, трансформація в гру відповідності. Так. І ми трохи тут статистику оновили, бо раніше у нас була статистика від початку карантину з березня 2020 року, а це ось статистичні цифри з початку 2022 року. І ми вам дуже вдячні за довіру і таку активність, бо 106 мільйонів виконань тестів за 9 місяців – це шалені цифри, і ми намагаємося робити все, щоб все стабільно працювало і ви могли з користю використовувати, дуже дивне формулювання, але щоб ви могли якнайкраще використовувати тести на урок у своїй роботі для роботи під час уроків і після. Ось один із перших тестів створених, яких я бачу, це тест про Україну для 8 класу. В принципі, це відповідно до теми, я думаю, яка йде за програмою. Але, безумовно, це як активність додатково може бути використана. Якщо ми вивчаємо будь-яку тему, то такий простий тест на 12 запитань про Україну, він так само може стати вам у пригоді. І давайте ми з ним і попрацюємо. Він без зображень, але ви можете це змінити, наприклад. Припустімо, вам тест сподобався, він у вас, якщо поставити сердечко, він у вас буде в збережених тестах. Будь ласка, є. Так само, прибравши сердечко, ви можете прибрати і цей тест зі збережених. Цей тест у нас клонований із оригінального тесту пані Заставської Марини Іванівни. Дякую їй за чудовий тест, бо якщо його клонують, він сподобався, він є хорошим. Ви так само можете собі клонувати. Клонувати можна в тих випадках, якщо автор оригінального тесту дозволив цю функцію. От, я натиснула клонувати, і я можу заборонити клонувати той варіант, який я зрештою зроблю. І можу зробити його приватним, тоді він не буде доступним для пошуку. Я можу змінити назву, змінити клас. Я можу додати зображення. Зараз спробуємо. Нехай буде ось таке. Так, є. Ось таким чином у нас з'явилося. Далі я можу відредагувати ці тестові завдання. Можу додати запитання, змінити запитання, можу додати картинки як в саме запитання, так і у відповіді зображення, якщо, звісно, в мене, якщо є така потреба. Просто покажу, як це може виглядати. Давайте ми спробуємо так. Це просто ті зображення, які є на сайті, вони не мають жодного смислового значення, але просто показую можливості. Так, далі ви можете відредагувати, безумовно, шрифт, додати якісь спеціальні символи, якщо у вас є на те потреба, навіть рідкісних абеток усіляких, спецсимволи. Фактично всі спецсимволи, які використовуються, ви можете їх тут знайти і використовувати. Але обов'язково зберігайте зміни. Також ви можете збільшити кількість запитань або зменшити їх. І ось, якщо у вас є, там буквально змінюються, тестові запитання є схожі, але там якась деталь змінюється. І не хочеться все заново писати. Просто натискаємо клонувати запитання. Додаємо просто ще якийсь там варіант, і він буде правильним. Це вже інше запитання, і воно в нас додалося в кінці. Далі, коли все зроблено, ми публікуємо тест, і нас повертає система на сторінку цього тесту. Вже з картинками все є. І далі, що ви можете вже з ним зробити? Підемо з кінця. Окрім того, що роздрукувати, ви можете перетворити його на флеш-картки. Як працюють флеш-картки? В нашому варіанті це абсолютно просто. Всі запитання – це один бік – це запитання, інший бік – це відповіді. Тут можна робити вікторину, можна індивідуальне опитування робити. Можна просити учнів, якщо у вас якась командна робота, наприклад, або індивідуальна, додаємо такий елемент несподіванки і пропонуємо учням, ось у нас є 13 запитань за темою Україна. І просимо учня, на яке запитання ти хочеш відповісти. Учень говорить, на 9. І тут є запитання у нас про річки, і чи це правда була, чи неправда. Учень говорить там відповідь свою, і далі ми з'ясовуємо, чи правий учень був, чи ні. І ось такий формат буде для вас дуже зручним, наприклад, якщо ви працюєте через Zoom чи через Google Meet, коли ви демонструєте екран. Можете використовувати додатково, просто щоб не брати одразу там 10 сервісів, все можна зробити на одному. Далі, про гру відповідності. Трансформувала цей тест в гру одним натисканням буквально відповідності і натискаю «Почати». Цей тест, як зразок гри відповідності, він є поганим. Чому? Тому що гра передбачає виведення на екран 8 пар запитання-відповідь. І якщо у нас тест ґрунтується на true-false, на цих категоріях, то це буде поганий варіант, оскільки в нас, як бачите тут, у нас багато варіантів false, і буде складно відслідкувати, до якого саме запитання це йде. Але якщо ми візьмемо інший тест, де є конкретні відповіді на конкретне запитання, і вони відрізняються від запитання до запитання, тоді це буде оптимальний варіант, як додаткова активність, чи після домашнього завдання, чи поза ним. І тут важливо прибрати з поля ці запитання-відповідь, щоб його повністю очистити, і зафіксує система, за який час вдалося поєднати правильний варіант, правильне запитання з правильним варіантом відповідей. Нагадаю, що це, коли ви задаєте домашню роботу, ви можете додати ось гра відповідності і флеш-картки. Якщо ми вже тут в розділі «Домашня робота», то тут так само налаштовуйте так, як вам буде зручно. Рекомендую дуже задавати домашню роботу на клас. В такому разі, якщо ви задаєте домашню роботу на клас, діти у своїх особистих кабінетах побачать вашу домашню роботу і тільки там зможуть один раз виконати відповідно до ваших налаштувань. Ось тільки одна спроба проходження. І все. Ось, якщо ви здали на клас, це буде дуже зручно. І не треба там окремих посилань давати, бо діти в такому випадку зможуть побачити в своїх особистих кабінетах, в тих кабінетах, де вони виконують завдання з олімпіад, наприклад, чи з конкурсів. Діти там зможуть вже виконати роботу над тим тестом, який ви задаєте. В цьому разі, якщо ви задаєте домашню роботу через сайт, в результатах тестувань ви знайдете всі роботи, які були вже виконані або які виконуються зараз в процесі, і ви можете їх сортувати. Ну, так, домашні завдання, до класу прив'язаний, наприклад, за цей місяць тільки. І шукаємо і дивимося, що у нас за вересень там було зроблено. Так буде зручніше вам знайти, ідентифікувати роботи, які є. Те ж саме ви можете зробити і з тестами. Якщо у вас створено багато тестів, ну, тут не багато, але ви можете за класом, тут відображаються ті класи, до яких прив'язано тест, саме паралель мається на увазі рівень класу, там від 1 до 11. Предмети, ви можете так само тут сортувати і знаходити де, що у вас є. Ну і за активне використання онлайн-тестів на урок ви зможете сертифікати так само завантажувати. Що стосується одна із вимог, наприклад, рівня експерт, презентувати функціонал тестування, фотофіксацію зробити. Якщо в сьогоднішніх наших умовах ми дозволяємо повністю зробити скріншот екрану, наприклад, де ви в Zoom розказуєте колегам, як користуватися онлайн-тестами на уроку. Цього, в принципі, буде достатньо, і потрібно буде написати до служби підтримки. Зворотний зв'язок, Facebook або на пошту. Далі. Наступне ще журнал. Я думаю, що так чи інакше ви хоч раз читали статті із журналу «На Урок». І я використовую зараз тут посилання пошук «Англійська мова» в журналі. От 168 публікацій, які стосуються або безпосередньо англійської мови, або в них згадується англійська мова в цих статтях. От, і ось, будь ласка, стаття про динамічні ігри, як використовувати, цікаві якісь роздаткові матеріали, посилання на відео, які ви можете використовувати. Ми багато ресурсів розглянули для вчителів англійської мови. Ну, тобто тут насправді 168 статей, які для вас. Це як методична допомога, дуже, як на мене, є цінною, тому знайдіть можливість ознайомитися. Ви знайдете там велику кількість практичних порад, ідей, вправ, закордонний досвід, посилання на цікаві ресурси, розбір цих ресурсів. Тому, будь ласка, перегляньте. Далі, ще важлива активність і можливість для вчителів англійської мови – це олімпіади на урок. Конкурсів англійської у нас зараз немає, але є до Дня бібліотек. Якщо у вас цікавить ця тема, то з 1 по 11 клас учні можуть виконати конкурс до Дня бібліотек. Так, що стосується олімпіад. Ось, в нас восени вже стартувала 15-та, на секундочку, олімпіада. Перша була 2018 року. І вона триватиме всю осінь. Ми перейшли на такий цикл, що в нас сезон триває олімпіада. І завдання будуть відкриті уже буквально через тиждень, 10 жовтня, і будуть відкриті до 25 листопада. Для вас буде, для вчителів англійської мови, маю на увазі, є предмет англійська мова з 1 по 11 клас. І ви можете зареєструвати ваших учнів на цю олімпіаду. Кількість заявок, кількість учнів не грає жодної ролі. Це буде стільки учнів, стільки заявок, стільки класів, скільки вам потрібно. Реєструйте. Якщо у вас є створений клас, добре. Якщо немає ще створених класів, ви можете їх створити або тут, або в особистому кабінеті. Якщо потрібна додаткова інформація стосовно реєстрації, стосовно олімпіади, то ви можете написати нам. Ми обов'язково допоможемо і розтлумачимо, що робити, як реєструватися. Це я переходжу збережені, ось, інструкція до олімпіади на урок. Це інструкція 2020 року, але вона актуальна є. Як створити клас, як редагувати, як створювати заявку, дещо відслідковувати. Можемо це посилання вам надати. Але це все в бібліотеці є. От, і олімпіади і конкурси, про які я щойно розказувала, все це можна знайти в моїх заявках, якщо ви заявлялися. Всі результати, натиснувши, ви знайдете всередині заявки, як і нагороди вчителя. А кожному, хто реєструє учнів на олімпіади, в кожному педагогові, учням свої дипломи, ось такого формату. Ви їх так само можете завантажити в заявці. А педагогам свої подяки, свідоцтва про переможців і різноманітні додаткові свідоцтва про педагогічну активність. От, все це можна буде завантажити всередині заявки. Ось такі нагороди прив'язуються саме до заявки. Про олімпіади ми завжди говоримо багато, окремі заходи робимо, тому ви зможете знайти так само запис такого вебінару, але дуже рекомендую, якщо у вас виникають запитання, не залишайтеся з ними наодинці і звертайтеся до служби підтримки. Ми завжди намагаємося якомога оперативніше відповісти на запитання. Єдине, що пишіть через Facebook Messenger і на нашу пошту. Актуальна інформація ось тут на сайті. Час відповіді може трохи коливатися, змінюватися, але оскільки частина наших колег в Харкові знаходиться і є свої нюанси перебування в місті зараз. Тому всі звернення, які до нас надходять, вони обов'язково на них ми надамо відповіді. Пані Галино, після завершення мого виступу я вам в чаті посилання скину на розробку реєстрації, і я зараз буквально 2 хвилинки приділю цьому, але в тій розробці ви зможете прям детальну інструкцію знайти. Тож ми на сторінці Олімпіади можемо одразу тут обрати предмет, який нам потрібен, можемо із переліку взяти англійська мова. І якщо у нас є класи створені, обираємо клас, який вже є. Можемо зробити з новим класом, наприклад, ми учні 9 класу, і в нас він 9 В. Все, зареєструвати клас. У нас готова реєстрація на захід. Так, ось дякую, мої колеги, посилання на вебінар. Пані Галину скинули. Подивіться, там є посилання і на цю інструкцію так само. І в презентації так само є цікавинки. Ось, все, в нас заявка для 9 класу готова. Але тут ще немає учнів. Можна додати учнів, якщо ви самостійно пропишете це наш постійний учень всіх наших заходів. Ви можете додати ось таким чином. І у нас створився пароль. Не активований, значить, що за цим паролем дитина ще не зайшла на сайт і не виконувала завдання. А можете, якщо ви знаєте, що у дітей є вже паролі до сайту на урок, вони працювали з іншими педагогами, то можете додати учнів і дати код вашого класу, код запрошення. І є інструкція, як цей код використати. Можете таким чином зробити, а можете спершу в моїх класах створити собі класи всі, які потрібно, які ви хочете заявити на Олімпіаду і вписати учнів, які... Це, якщо хтось не захоче брати участь, нічого страшного, але в них буде пароль. Можете створити класи, далі повернутися на сторінку Олімпіади і знову ж таки зробити заявку на участь. І вже 10 жовтня відкриються завдання для ваших учнів. Ось, я думала, що мені буде багато часу говорити про можливості на урок, але насправді я фактично все встигла, перепрошую. Єдине, що ще в нас є розділ проєкти і є проєкти цілі, наприклад, подорож Лондоном, готовий великий проєкт з посиланнями, з метою, з ідеями і з видами завдань. Обов'язково перегляньте і залучайте проєктну діяльність у свою роботу. Так, в мене, власне, все. Здається, зараз перевірю за презентацію. Так, є в мене все. Єдине, що нагадаю, зараз конференцію, повернуся на наш з вами захід. Уже такі організаційні моменти, що всі матеріали, свідоцтво, якщо ви замовляли, презентація, відеозапис, заявлені матеріали як додаткові до свідоцтва, все буде доступне після завершення навчання, тобто сьогодні ввечері після виступу пані Євгенії Костенко. Програму конференції ви можете завантажити, ось вона є. Можете познайомитися з нею. Розклад так само можете переглянути. Далі, якщо будуть виникати запитання, нагадую, підтримка. Обов'язково звертайтеся. Що ще важливий момент? Виступ пані Анастасії. Зараз він перед вами, він відбудеться обов'язково іншого дня. Пані Анастасія захворіла, на жаль, бажаємо їй якнайшвидшого одужання. І ми додатково сповістимо вас обов'язково заздалегідь про те, коли саме відбудеться виступ. Тому дочекайтесь обов'язково. А попереду у вас сьогодні ще 2 фантастичних виступи від педагогів, які просто говорять своєю професією і які надихають не тільки вчителів англійської мови. Тож, о 17-й годині пані Ганна Дудіч розкаже про перші кроки, як все це відбувається в 5 класі НУШ, викладання англійської мови. А о 18-й годині пані Євгенія Костенко розкаже про дистанційну взаємодію з учнями на уроках англійської мови, як залучати ресурси, які активності, що робити і як зробити так, щоб все було ефективно, корисно і цікаво для учнів. Тому дочекайтеся, обов'язково вже за 7 хвилин пані Ганна Дудіч з вами буде. Готуйте запитання, не соромтеся, будьте активними. Запитання – це завжди добре. Я до себе запитань не бачу, тому буду закінчувати, вже трохи на перерву затяглося. Нагадаю, що кожен із вас має силу навчати, підтримувати, наближати перемогу. І учителів англійської мови, як на мене, ще більше можливостей в цьому контексті, бо ви володієте мовою світу і можете розказувати про Україну в фактично будь-якому куточку світу, де знають англійську мову. Тому ці можливості важливо використовувати. Ми віримо в силу педагогів і будемо всіляко вас підтримувати в ваших починаннях, ініціативах. І якщо у вас є якісь ідеї, обов'язково пишіть. А насамкінець я нагадаю, що команда освітнього проєкту «На урок» продовжує працювати для вчителів України. І попереду у нас багато цікавих активностей. Слідкуйте за оновленнями, залишайтеся з нами, переглядайте прямі ефіри, дивіться записи вебінарів, конференцій, курсів, навчайтеся з нами, розвивайтеся з нами, і ми зробимо все для того, щоб у вас було відчуття, що про вас дбають і створюють для вас нові можливості. Дякую від усієї команди на урок. Залишайтесь з нами, попереду 2 виступи. І приємного всім навчання, взаємодії і натхнення. Слава Україні!
Greetings, my dear friends. I'm very glad to see you today here at our webinar provided to us by the educational project Na Урок. Today we are going to speak with you about teaching English in the fifth forms of the new Ukrainian school. And in order to check how well you can hear me, I would like to ask you to react to the following statement in the chat box. So, teaching English in the fifth form of the new Ukrainian school differs a lot from how we used to teach. If you agree with this statement, please put a plus, and if you disagree, put a minus. So I'm waiting for your reaction. If you agree, put a plus. If you disagree, put a minus. So I can see a lot of pluses and some minuses as well. So it means that opinions differ. Some of you think that actually teaching English in the fifth form of the new Ukrainian school differs a lot from our usual way of teaching. Okay, well, today I will share my experience and my thoughts with you. And like all other teachers in Ukraine, I am a pioneer in this sphere. And I have already made some remarks and some ideas, and I am glad to share all my ideas with you. So, a few words about myself. My name is Ганна Дудіч, and I am a teacher of English and a vice principal at Taras Shevchenko Lyceum in Kropivnitsky. I'm a Global Teacher Prize Top 50 finalist in 2017. Global Education and Skills Forum speaker in 2018 and 2019, and an ambassador to a number of different educational platforms like Varker, Penpal Schools, Scientix, 100, and so on, and a certified teacher, certified educator of Neopod and National Geographic. And due to participation in all these different educational groups, I got a chance to connect with the educators from different countries and to share the experience and to learn from them. And I can see actually that our new Ukrainian school has adopted a lot of ideas from the best educational practices from all over the world. And I do really hope that all these great ideas will thrive here on in our schools, and that we will just take the best from different experience from all over the world and develop it according to our own surrounding, our own learning environment. During our webinar today, we are going to speak about the following points. First of all, new Ukrainian schools, new Ukrainian students. Are they the same or different from what the students used to be? New school requires new standards. So we are going to speak with you about new standards, new state standards for the new Ukrainian school. We will speak with you about the balance between knowledge and skills. And we will also speak about competencies, how to develop, how not to only give knowledge to our students, but how to develop their skills and competencies that they will need when they grow up in order to be successful citizens, in order to be successful people in this life. I will share with you my experience of integration in the fifth form, how we can integrate English with other subjects and other fields of study using CLIL and STEAM. I will show you a couple of examples from my own lessons, how I try to integrate English with other subjects, especially in the fifth form. We will speak about developing key competencies and cross-cutting skills at the English lesson. We will also speak about teaching to learn and about new type of assessment, because you know that in our elementary school students are not assessed in the traditional way. They are not graded as they used to be. And when they come to the fifth form, one of the biggest challenges for a teacher is how to adjust this system of assessment and how to assess children who are not used to getting marks, to getting grades. So what to do here? I will share my experience with you as well. And of course, we will speak about a really important issue, about the issue of developing soft skills. Because nowadays, all big enterprises, all businesses, they actually are saying that the employee may not even have the necessary knowledge or practical skills. This is not even so important. But the employee in the modern business, in the modern enterprise, should have soft skills. And they emphasize that soft skills are something that is nowadays even more important than knowledge, because if you know how to learn, you can teach yourself. You can find resources where you can learn. But if you do not have soft skills, when you are a grown-up, when you are an adult, it can be even too late to learn how to develop those soft skills. So the earlier we start, the better. And the fifth form is the great starting point for this. So the first question is, our new fifth formers of the new Ukrainian school, are they the same as our previous year's fifth formers, or are they different? Well, you may say that, of course, mostly in lots of aspects they are the same, because they are children, so they like to play, and they are learning through playing. And you know that there are a lot of grammar games and vocabulary games that we are playing in class, and we try to teach them through different gamification activities. Yes, that is true. Still, these fifth formers, like their brothers and sisters, like their classmates from the previous years, they love to communicate. And we are speaking about communicative approach here. And we know that in English, in teaching English, in the English teaching methodology, communicative approach is probably the most widely used method. And yes, it still remains important in the fifth form of the new Ukrainian school. We still focus our attention at the lessons on teaching speaking, reading, writing, and listening, 4 basic skills. We still use a lot of songs and plays at the lessons of English in the fifth form. And we still pay attention to the TPR, total physical response, when we ask children to move their hands, to show, to point at something, etc., etc., while learning something. Yes, these aspects remain the same. But what is different in this new Ukrainian school, in the new fifth form? Well, first of all, these kids will not allow you to dictate what you want to teach. They will question you a lot. They will ask questions like, what are we going to learn? Or why do I need it? Even being in the fifth form, they ask such questions, and you need to be prepared to answer the question. So it's better to start every lesson with the short explanation, telling them, so we are going to learn this and this because you will need it for that and that. New Ukrainian school is really, really keen on integration. And there are a lot of different courses, integrated courses, which New Ukrainian School offers. Teaching English does not belong to the integrated course, but still at the lesson of English, we should try to find different ways to integrate English with other subjects. And here we can speak about CLIL, where we combine content learning and language learning. For example, when we are speaking about science, learning about the environment, the world that surrounds you, with learning English, for example. Or speaking about the health studies and the importance of the healthy way of life at the lessons of English. So something that children can refer to other subjects, something that can be combined. Another great example of integration is STEM or STEAM, when we integrate English with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and art. I really, really love this type of integration. And when you work together with other teachers who teach other subjects in other fields of studying, you get really, really cool results. New Ukrainian School should take into account the fact that our kids, our fifth formers, are the children of the digital era. And we should speak about digitalization. When we speak about gamification, we need to understand that these kids are fond of such digital games as Minecraft, for example. Why not use Minecraft, and why not ask them to craft something at the lessons of English? For example, while learning about Great Britain, please craft in Minecraft the monuments that you can find in Great Britain. Or craft, please, just some landmarks like Big Ben or something else. Another new aspect of the New Ukrainian School is new assessment, where we should speak not only about summative assessment, not only about the marks that kids can get at different lessons, but also we should speak about self-assessment and teaching children to learn, preparing them to be lifelong learners. And of course, the aspect of globalization. When we teach them to be global citizens who are aware of the cultural diversity of the world around them, who are aware of diversity of thoughts and ideas, and who can negotiate thoughts peacefully, negotiate differences peacefully, and who will respect cultures of other countries, and also who will present their own country and culture on the international level in the best possible way. So this is also very, very important. So first of all, when we begin teaching in the fifth form of the New Ukrainian School, we need to have a look at the essence of the New Ukrainian School. The New Ukrainian School is the key reform, and I deliberately did not translate this into English because it is a quotation from our Ministry of Education website, and it says that the New Ukrainian School is the key reform of the ministry, and its main aim is to create a school where children will love to study, and the school which will show them how to use knowledge practically in everyday life. So not only learn the rules of present simple and present continuous, not only learn new vocabulary, family words, for example, or countries and nationalities, but also how to use this vocabulary and what you can use it for, in what situations. So anytime when we teach our kids something at the lesson, we need to ask ourselves the question, where can they use all these ideas, all these things that they are learning in real life? So that is probably most important. When we start thinking about our calendar plans, about our plans for every lesson, we should probably start with the higher level of planning. We should start with new state standards. And first of all, you need to understand that probably you need to go to the website of the Ministry of Education, and you need to look through all the documents that they have created connected with the New Ukrainian School. And after reading the new standard, you will probably be able to understand how you can modify this model program, how you can build your own educational program based on the model program. And then, based on your educational program, you can build your calendar plans. And based on the calendar plans, you can build your everyday lesson plans. And here, this year, in the 5th form of the New Ukrainian School, we have got a really cool possibility to modify 20% of the model program. When we work with our educational programs for the 5th forms of the New Ukrainian School, we can take into account all different aspects that influence our way of teaching. Where the school is situated, what kind of textbook you are using, what learning environment you have got in your school. Have you got all possible abilities for digitalization, or maybe you have got just a blackboard or a whiteboard and a book, and that is all. So when you take all these things into account, what is the general focus of your school? Maybe your school focuses on mathematics, then you will have to connect more lessons with math, even English. Maybe your school focuses on languages, and then why not try to connect English with other languages, with the Ukrainian language, with literature, world literature, whatever, with other foreign languages. So depending on all these factors, you can modify up to 20% of the model program and build your own your own educational program based on the model program, but taking into account all peculiarities of your school and your learning environment. We are living with you in the 21st century when new times require new type of school, new type of education. And this new type of school should bring up new kind of people who will be successful in the 21st century and who will have both knowledge and soft skills. And it will be a really harmonious combination of knowledge and of soft skills. You can find all this information in the new state standard of the secondary school. And here you can see the link to our Ministry of Education website where this new state standard is uploaded. If you take a look at this new standard, you can see that there are 9 different educational fields listed there. And not separate subjects, but educational fields. And this is our way for integration. This factor somehow inspires teachers to integrate different subjects while teaching kids at school, especially in the 5th form of our new Ukrainian school. You can find key competencies that we need to develop, and also cross-cutting skills. That is, the skills that go through all different subjects. And while teaching any kind of subject, you should pay attention to all these, to developing these cross-cutting skills. Not only read and translate the text, but read for understanding. Not simply retell the text or the topic, but express yourself. Tell about your own idea in writing and orally. Critical thinking, creativity, being a leader, developing leadership, being able to analyze what you are doing, to use logics while you are speaking, being a person with emotional intelligence and being able to control your emotions, taking risks and making decisions, and problem solving. So all these things are cross-cutting skills, and we need to develop them at the lessons of English. So when we combine knowledge and skills and competencies, when we teach at the lessons of English 4 basic skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, combined with 4C, critical thinking, collaboration, cooperation, and creativity, only when we combine all these highlighted things, we will be able to come up with a successful language learner. So when we speak about integration, we need to see this Bloom's taxonomy triangle. And we can see that at the top of this triangle is creativity. So when you think about a task that you would like to give your students, it is not enough at the lesson of English to ask your students to memorize the rule, for example, the grammar rule. Okay, they will memorize the rule. It's better, of course, when they understand the rule. This is the second floor of this triangle, yes? Understanding is good. Apply, how to apply the rule. So use, for example, the present simple to tell us about yourself. Okay, so it's a kind of application. They apply the rule. But then analyze. So think about another task where they can analyze the situation. What to do and how to do and make connections among ideas, different ideas. When you ask your kids, for example, to organize something, to compare this and that, to question something, to research something. So that will be this stage, another stage. Another type of activity of the higher level is evaluative activity. When you ask your students to evaluate, for example, defend the position, or judge the statement, or select something, or value something. So that is really cool. And even for the kids of the fifth form, you can think about such activities. When you ask them not just to answer a simple question, but when you ask them to defend their position, to explain why they think in such a way. And of course, the top level, the best kind of task is the task which is creative. When you ask your students to produce something, to create something. So, for example, create a blog post or create a class website where you will tell international students about each classmate. And here you will test students' ability to tell about themselves. You will practice the topic me and my family. You will practice present simple, but at the same time you will speak about creativity. So these are the kinds of tasks that should be used in the new Ukrainian school. When we speak about integration, there is a great list of verbs for integrated lessons of English. Some of them may seem a little bit difficult for kids of the fifth form, but actually you can choose the verbs which will be suitable for this kind of age group. It is taken from the website learningtoday.com, and I have used quite a lot of them. You may ask your students, when you want your students to remember something, you may ask them to name something, to list something, to describe something, to write, to find. When you want them to understand, you ask them to predict. For example, guess, what are we going to speak about? Show them a cartoon at the beginning of the lesson, which somehow describes what you are going to do at the lesson today, and ask them to predict. So show them the picture of you and your family, for example, and ask your kids, what do you think? What are we going to talk about today? And they will guess that you are going to talk about a family because they will see you and other members of your family in the picture. So apply. When we want our students to apply the knowledge, we may ask them to show something, to illustrate, to complete, to use. Use, for example, this grammar structure to do this and this and that and that. A different set of verbs which we can use when we ask our students to analyze something. So here you can analyze different differences between different grammar structures, like present simple and present continuous. Why do we use present simple here and present continuous there? They are sure to notice, for example, some markers that will prompt them, but do not tell them the rule yourself. Ask them to analyze the examples and to come up with the rule. Evaluate a different list of verbs which can be used for evaluation, and create something, invent something, compose something, plan something, design something, imagine something. And of course it's really great when you ask them these creativity kind of things to complete in groups, when they are working in groups. In this way, you can combine learning English with developing soft skills, because being able to collaborate is also one of the soft skills. So I will give you some examples of integrated lessons in the 5th and 6th form, because both the 5th and the 6th form are considered to be this transition stage where we try to adopt our elementary school students to this period of adaptation, when the students try to adjust to the secondary school. So I conducted these lessons not with my new Ukrainian school students, 5th formers, because I have only met them recently, so I didn't have time yet to conduct any special lessons with them. This is the lesson from the previous year. And here are the examples for you, where English can be integrated with science in the 5th form. You can see the description in Ukrainian. It is just a screenshot from my Facebook post. And you can see some pictures that illustrate the lesson. So at the lesson of English, our topic, our theme of the lesson was the life, so everyday life, everyday activities. And we were studying present simple. And there was a text in our students' books about the usual day at the International Space Station. And at the lessons of nature, students studied space. And we decided to work together with our teacher of nature, of sciences, and we conducted this joint lesson. It was one of the final lessons in the set of lessons in the topic. That is why students already knew some information about the solar system, about different planets, because they studied it at the lessons of science. And at the lessons of English, we already covered the topic of the present simple, and we read the text about the life at the International Space Station. So what we did at this integrated lesson, we used the 3D animations from Mozaweb. We spoke about the space and planets which surround us. We spoke about the life of astronauts at the International Space Station. And we used the present simple to describe their routine. And we discussed how the astronauts' routine differs from our routine. We tried to compose comic strips in English and in Ukrainian. Comic strips were actually the dialogue with the alien. What would you like to tell aliens about the Earth? So kids practiced English, and they practiced present simple because they were telling aliens about the Earth as about their home. Not only our city or our village is our home, but the Earth, the whole planet, is our home as well. The lesson was conducted both in English and in Ukrainian, and the part where English was spoken was harmoniously combined with another stage, another part where Ukrainian was spoken, and that part was conducted by the teacher of science who teaches in that class. So it was a natural combination of English and Ukrainian, of English and science, and we used different technology. We used virtual reality glasses and showed our kids the virtual reality image of the International Space Station. They could walk along different parts of the space station. They could then tell us what they saw. They could describe different objects that they could see inside the station. So that was one type of integration. And at the same time, as I said, we practiced reading, we practiced writing when we were writing comic strips, we practiced speaking when we were telling about the routine of astronauts, and also we spoke about STEM jobs, because being an astronaut is a STEM profession. And what you should learn if you want to become an astronaut, what subjects are important, what school subjects are important for future astronauts. In such a way, we even prepared our students for a future choice of profession. We showed them that even the subject that they are learning in the fifth form are really, really important for the future choice of the profession. And finally, we finished the lesson with our astronaut selfie. And we uploaded a special program on our telephones, which when you make a selfie, it turns your photograph into a photo of an astronaut, and it puts you in the space suit and creates a really cool selfie of the astronaut. Another example of the integrated lesson, English and Geography in the sixth form. I have chosen the sixth form here. I decided to tell you about the lesson in the sixth form too, because the sixth form is another form in the stage of adaptation, both the sixth and the fifth. The adaptation stage of the new Ukrainian school. So this lesson was combined with geography, because in the sixth form students start learning geography. At the lesson of English, we were covering the topic of the English-speaking countries, English-speaking world. And at the lessons of geography, they were speaking about orientation on the surface and using compass. So we discussed the information that they know about different English-speaking countries. We used the map and showed all these different English-speaking countries in the world. We listened to the instructions to the video in English on the Moza web resource, where it was like an explanation video which taught us how to use simple objects like a magnet, a needle, a bowl of water, and a piece of cork to create a handmade compass. So we created this handmade compass. To do this, you need to pour some water into a bowl, to take a magnet and to rub the needle over a magnet, and it will be magnetized. And then put a piece of cork in water and put a needle on this piece of cork, and the needle will turn exactly to the pole. It will act as the arrow as the hand of the compass, as the arrow of the compass. So we put a real compass next to our handmade compass and compared the direction in which the needle was showing, and it was exactly the same. So actually we conducted the experiment, and we listened to the instructions of the experiment in English. So we practiced listening, we combined English and geography, we did some handmade stuff at the lesson, and it was an element of STEM, because STEM is impossible without experiments. And after that, our children understood that, well, actually, they told us at the end of the lesson, that, well, if we ever get lost in the English-speaking country, in the forest somewhere, we will be able to get out of the forest even without a compass, because we know now how to make a compass from the things that we have. Some water, a piece of cork, and a needle. Just piece of cake, very easy. So you show your students how to combine different things that they see around them, how to combine knowledge that they get at the lessons of English and geography, for example, and how to do something with their hands and put this knowledge to work in real life. So this is another example of integration. When we speak about developing key competencies, you may ask, how can we develop, for example, mathematical competency at the lessons of English? Why not develop it at the lessons of mathematics? Well, as I said, our new Ukrainian school is totally about integration and about developing key competencies at all different language subjects. So here is a great example for you. There is a topic called food in the fifth form. When you teach your students different types of food, why not speak about calories? What is 200 calories? Ask them, provide them with some information how many calories there are in different everyday products, like a glass of juice, some carrot, a glass of milk, a glass of cola, for example, some butter, a hamburger, etc., etc. And then ask them to count, to calculate how many calories per day they consume. So first of all, they tell you in English what they have for breakfast, for example. And then you ask them, okay, you told me that you have an egg and a cup of tea with 1 spoon of sugar. Now calculate how many calories you consume, and then ask them to calculate how many calories they take per day, and provide them with the information what is the average requirements for a child of their age, and ask them to see if they get enough calories, or maybe they eat too much junk food or fast food. And they will see themselves if they have a healthy way of life or if they need to change it. And this is mathematical competency. And this is also developing healthy lifestyle at the lessons of English. I have already given you some examples of STEM, and I will not stop here because you have already seen the examples. You can develop also innovative thinking when you ask your students to come up with some idea. For example, think about any problem that surrounds you and invent a gadget, a new gadget, for example. When you are talking to your kids about technology, about things that surround them, they will definitely mention a mobile phone, a laptop, a tablet, for example, and then ask them, okay, what gadget can you invent that does not exist now, but maybe it will exist in the future to solve this or that problem? And believe me, they will come up with really cool ideas. And here you can practice using the verb can. It can do this. It can do that. So you are teaching grammar while developing innovative thinking. Of course, we can speak about developing ecological competency when we are talking about the importance of keeping our environment clean. ICT competency. Instead of asking your students just to write something, why not ask them to text you a message? And it will be developing ICT. And while texting a message, tell them how to use emojis, for example, because in the modern world, we very seldom write letters with hand. We mostly type messages or emails or any other type of stuff using our mobile devices. So ask your students, provide them with your real email, for example, and ask them to write you an email. But teach them digital etiquette. Teach them how to be polite online. You can create your classroom blog. You can create your classroom web page where your students will write, for example, short articles, not often, not for every lesson, but you can make it monthly, for example. And in this way, you will develop their ICT skills and their digital citizenship. Teach them to be lifelong learners. Show them how to learn, where to find extra information, where to review the rule if they have forgotten the grammar that you are teaching. Give them some space where the rules will be kept. Well, I'm lucky to use the British publishing house textbook, and it has got these reference pages at the back of the book where all grammar is reviewed, and students know that whenever they forget the rule, they can refer to the back page of the book and review the rule and see the examples and so on. If you don't have such pages in your book, you can create a special web space for your students. Let it be a file on the Google Drive, for example, where you will upload all the rules that you are teaching, and give students the link to this common file, and they will know that they can follow the link at any time when they forget the rule, and see the rule and examples or examples of best kinds of written work, for example, or some extra exercises that are kept there in that file. Of course, teach them about being an active citizen, and show them that their decisions matter, and even the decisions of a child matter. Because if we teach our students that they matter from the young age, and what they think and what they do really matters, then they will grow up active citizens, being able of changing future. Develop entrepreneurship and financial literacy. So how can you develop financial literacy at the lessons of English? So here is an example. You can see it here in the picture, in the screenshot. Look at the prices in the photographs in the textbook. The prices of different products, of different kinds of foods that you can see in the supermarket. Imagine that you have only 10 pounds or 10 hryvnias or whatever. Well, 10 hryvnias would not be enough, yes? In our modern day situation, let's say 100 hryvnias, yes? And you need to use the following phrases. Let's buy, let's get, what about, how much is, how much are, and so on and so forth. Active vocabulary that we are teaching. And decide what you need to work together with your partner in a group of 2 and decide what you want to buy. Having only 100 hryvnias or 10 pounds or whatever. So here you develop cooperation, ability to persuade, ability to analyze, because they need to come up to a common decision what they would like to buy. And at the same time, you develop financial literacy. You teach your students that every product has its price. And if you have a limited amount of money, you need to be able to calculate how much money you will spend and which products you really need. And you need to be able to draw parallels between your needs, what I need, and your abilities, what I have and what I can spend. And in such a way, we are teaching them not only how to shop, how to go shopping, but we are teaching them to be responsible, not to waste money, and to be able to analyze, do I really need it? Or maybe I don't need this kind of product, okay? So that is about developing financial literacy at the lessons of English. If you want to have a successful classroom, we are speaking about some rules. No matter what kind of classroom it is. If every classroom starts with rules. It may be a Zoom classroom when you are teaching in the distance mode like I'm doing now. It can be a real physical classroom, but my big advice to you, and I have learned it and it has proved to be a really successful idea, start teaching in the 5th form with rules. If you introduce classroom rules, behavior rules, positive attitude rules, if you introduce your classroom rules to your class, and if you regularly stick to these rules, then your kids will automatically know that they cannot come unprepared to class. It is not allowed. It is not the way you should work, you should do. So if you are working in Zoom, you can use the Zoom background. And here you can see my Zoom background, the Zoom background that I am using. I found it in Canva. It is a ready-made one. I simply modified some rules there. And actually in Canva, you can create a free account for a teacher. If you are an educator, you can create a free account. And you can modify different resources that are present there, or you can create your own. So this Zoom background with classroom rules has already been uploaded there. I just changed some rules, made them suitable for my classroom. And whenever I start a lesson in the fifth form, I put this Zoom background on, and behind me, my students see the rules that we usually practice. And these rules are very simple. Turn your video on. So all the students who come to my class, they turn on the video. Mute your microphone unless it's your turn to speak. Raise your hand if you want to say something, and I show them where to find their electronic hand in Zoom. Don't play your chat online while the class is ongoing, and come prepared and participate. These are basic rules. And it is very important to ask your students to cooperate, co-create the rules with your students. Let them create at least one rule in your list. When they understand that the rules belong to them, then they will definitely stick to the rules, because these are their rules. Now, another resource that I found really helpful while teaching fifth formers of the new Ukrainian school is classroom screen. Assessment is very important in the fifth form of the new Ukrainian school. And I have already told you that our students of the fifth form come to school, to the fifth form, without being aware of what grades are. They do not know what is 12 and what is 6 and what is 5, because they haven't been graded. And I need to know how my students feel, what they feel about our new grammar, for example, structure that we are learning. So I found very useful such resource which is called Classroom Screen. Classroom Screen is basically a very simple resource. It is just the screen of your computer. It can be used in face-to-face learning if you have, for example, a computer or a TV connected to the internet or a whiteboard in class, or it can be used during the Zoom lesson or any other type of synchronous lesson when you share your screen. So you have different types of instruments here. One instrument is a die, where you throw the die and you will get the number of dots on the die, and it will be somebody's turn to speak. You can choose randomly the name of the student who will answer. There is kind of a randomizer. Random group maker, which will help you to make groups. Noise detector. It's a special instrument here built in the classroom screen, which measures the noise in the classroom. If your students are working in a group and they become very noisy, the level of this noise meter will move, and it will move to the red part, and it will show that the class is very noisy, and you will ask your students to calm down a little bit. You can also set the timer. When you say, for example, okay, kids, you have 10 minutes to do this exercise, and you set the timer, and they see the timer, and they see the time, how many minutes are left. You can show the symbols, what you are doing now. For example, if you ask them to write, to work independently, to do the exercise, you put on this sign with the sh sound, and they know that they need to keep quiet and work silently and not interrupt others. There is a traffic light sign. where you can which you can use to show right and wrong answers. And the instrument which helps me with my formative assessment is this one. It has got different phases. There can be 3 phases, there can be 4. You can choose, you can modify it as you like. And after teaching my students, for example, a new grammar structure, so we were learning the verb to be, and for example, or we were learning the past simple in affirmative sentences. So I put up a question now, or a statement. Now I can use the past simple in affirmative sentences. And I ask my students to choose the emoji which best describes their reaction to this statement. And if most of the class chooses the green smiley face, I understand that I did a good job and my students know and understand and feel confident. If somebody chooses the orange or yellow face or the red face, the sad emoji, then I see that I need to go back and revise at the next lesson. So this is very cool because I cannot see the names. I can only see the reaction, the student's reaction, and I tell them that it is anonymous. They don't need to be afraid that they have made a mistake. It is a type of formative assessment which tells me as a teacher that I can go on or I need to go back and revise and practice some more. Another type of assessment in our new Ukrainian school is self-assessment. We are preparing with you lifelong learners, and our students need to be taught how to self-assess, how to assess what they know, how to see what they need to revise. So I'm teaching English using Wider World book by Pearson Publishing House. And in this book, in this textbook, in the workbook for this textbook, at the end of every unit, there is a great self-assessment page. This self-assessment sheet goes together with the self-check worksheet containing different exercises and tasks based on the grammar and vocabulary in the unit. And there are also answers to the exercises. And I usually tell my kids to do the exercises and then to open the page with the answers and check themselves and correct the mistakes. And then, after doing this, they use this table that you can see to self-assess what they have learned and what they need to revise. So if they have made mistakes in the exercise based on vocabulary, they will choose a sad smile. If they have made no mistakes, they will choose 2 happy faces, for example. If there was just 1 mistake, there will be 1 happy face. And if they choose sad smiles, there is some information for them where they can go in the book, what page they should refer to revise. For example, student's book, page 1.1. You can find this information there. And they will go back and find and revise. And then there are also great questions. Now I can. So I can talk about my family and relatives. Yes or no? If yes, put a tick. I can use this and that, this and that and that. If yes, put a tick. So this is a really cool example of self-assessment. And this is a type of kind of preparation for the test. After doing this self-assessment, students know what they need to revise for the test. And then, actually, I have already noticed that they do better in tests because they revise what they have corrected. They see their mistakes, they see their weak points, and they revise exactly what they need to do better during the test. Testing is really different from assessment. When we are speaking about assessment, it is more like formative assessment. And when we are speaking about testing, testing is more like summative assessment. We test what they learned. We use formative assessment to see how to plan our future lessons, how to help our students to be the best learners. and we use testing to test actually what they have learned already. So assessment is a procedure. It is done during and after the instruction, the lesson, and it is really broad. It doesn't have to be the mark. And testing is a product, the final product after learning the whole unit in the book, after the instructions, so it's a form of assessment. Our fifth formers do not know the grades yet, but we need to introduce them to grades gradually. So the way I did it, I used such a letter code. I used typical Ukrainian phrases, and they start with the same letter as the level. So I told them that if you get grades 1, 2, 3, it's початковий рівень. And початковий рівень дорівнює традиційній фразі, яку ви отримували в початковій школі: працюй краще. Починається з тієї ж літери, що і рівень, і легко запам'ятати. 4, 5, 6 – it's середній рівень. Старайся краще. Середній, старайся. Отже, оціночку отримали, наприклад, 6 балів, і в дужках пишу літеру рівня. Вони зрозуміли, одразу пригадують, що в початковій школі вони вчили. 9, 8, 7, letter D – добре. 10, 11, 12, letter V – відмінно. We teach them how to do it. You can group your students according to their results into different groups. You can use mixed groups and you can use homogeneous groups. It will allow you to develop their group work, their collaborative skills, and their competencies. And in order to develop global competency and soft skills, you can ask your students to participate in different international projects. And here is one example which is suitable for the fifth formers: traveling tales. And of course, don't forget to put the best work in the spotlight. So I used the Canva video creation tool to create such a video for my top students. The best work, the best result is actually awarded not only with marks but with praise in class. So there were some questions in our chat box, and actually there was one question about which platforms are better to use. Actually, there was only one question. Тільки одне питання я бачила, які платформи найкраще використовувати. Ну, про платформи я вже розповіла під час доповіді, що я використовую Canva. Для різноманітної наочності можна використовувати, в принципі, будь-які платформи, які вам підходять. Що підходить краще для онлайн-уроків, Zoom чи Google Meet? Дивлячись на вимоги вашої школи, і те підходить, я думаю, абсолютно нормально. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being with us, and thank you to Educational Project На Урок for providing this platform for communication. See you at our future webinars. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
dear teachers. Hi, hello, hello, hello. I don't know if you can see me, so please, if you do talk to me, like please put plus to the chat box. If not, please just tell me like if there's nothing there. So I'm looking here because I've got the chat here. And that's why, let's see, what is up? Aha, so you hear me and that's everything fine. Hello, hello, my dear friends. Hello from Khmelnytsky. Hi, 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 hello. I haven't been here for quite a long time, so you see like a little change in the image. So like I've got a little bit of glasses, but in case you don't know who I am Євгенія Костенко, certified teacher of English, here going on, and like freelance online teacher right now, currently since COVID started, and like the teacher training by the call of the heart. So, and I do hope that you will spend a wonderful time today with me. You will hear some interesting information, a little bit more theoretical, some of them will be more practical, but you will see everything that will be like connected to the distance connection there, so like to the distant interaction with the students for this part. Right, so we're going to talk with you about distance learning, teaching right now and in the COVID. What are the interaction patterns? I hope that I will open for you some more interaction patterns that are out there, and some also practical tips on the implementation there. So yeah, so like unfortunately I will be like that. So, and let it be here. As we talk with you, I want you to remember that all the time we've got like some short attention span, sometimes longer attention span. You have had already today like about 2 lectures. So like one is about Na Урок, the second one is about other NUSH, wonderful new Ukrainian school devices and also websites. So take a look at what you might be. Today, during my session, you will be probably like that, or probably like that. But I want to create something more connected with the smiles on your face, and that we will have a little bit more interaction to this point. So, basically, when we're talking with you right now about the distance learning and about everything, we need to remember we are living in the state of emergency, so we have to have not only the classroom rules, I mean like during the online school rules, I mean also the rules for yourself. So my call to you, my dear teachers, my dear colleagues, if you have the air alert right now in your district, in your oblast or in your region, please go to the shelter or at least to the corridor with the phone or with the laptop, the one that you have. I'm a very irresponsible teacher, so I'm not going to do it. So please don't be like that, because you have to show the example to your students there. So like you have to show what you need to do in this situation. So what I mean by this, so like during the Zoom class or during the Meet in your like online classes, I don't know what you're using, I'm using Zoom, so I'm talking about that. You have your own rules there about raising hand, about the emojis, about backgrounds and stuff, but you also have to be alert about the air alert system too. So please be aware of that and make sure that you are safe today as well as during all the period of time until the victory out there. Well, of course, and later, but still it's out there. So, as we're jumping over with you through the classroom rules and everything, it's like the management, you know that it's quite important there. We are doing with you not only the distance education for this part. So, like we are talking with you about something more specific and something more precise. In the chat box, I'd like you right now to guess, what do these 3 letters stand for? So ERT, this is actually the term for something that is connected to our activities with you today and throughout like this period of time. So please, in the chat box, try to guess. What is E, what is R, what is T? It's the abbreviation, obviously. So yeah, I've got you here, waiting for you here. Okay. So please, 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 like just any guess, like ERT, I don't know, like maybe it's like some TV or something like that. Something with the result. Okay, probably. Anything else? Anything else? Please, please, please. Go on. I know it's an evening, So R stands for remote, ER teaching. Teaching is right. Remote is right. So ladies, yes and gentlemen, right, educate. Enjoy result teaching. Well, it's actually a great start for some school there. So like enjoy result teaching. It sounds like, you know, like a motto even. English result teacher, probably, yes, so as well. Right, are rules, you think? Could be. Well, everything is connected to the rules. English remote teacher, very close. English rule, education rules teaching, education result teaching. Well, yeah, we are going for the results. Training could be, well, training and teaching there. Entertaining, for some kinds too as well. Basically, I will not torture you anymore. This is emergency remote teaching. That's what we are doing with you right now. When we are at the state of war, when Ukraine is at the state of war, we are not just providing distance education, we are providing emergency remote education. We are providing remote teaching, but in the state of emergency. So we know that, for example, our student is right now in Khmelnytsky region and he's got the air alert and he's sitting in the basement with his grandma with the book as well. So, and you cannot actually just stay by the plan of your lesson. You have to be flexible, and this is what is one of the differences from the ERT and the distance learning and distance teaching, is that in the ERT we have to be a little bit more flexible, and this is what the war has taught us, and this is what we're going to talk with you today, how to be more flexible, how to have more interaction with the emergency remote teaching as well. So, as we're talking about that, emergency remote teaching and learning, they are quite similar to the distance one. However, it's got some peculiarities. As you can see on this scheme, we've got with you a lot of like weird stuff there. So like enrichment, not weird, but like basic, I mean, enrichment, evaluation, discussion, and instruction and explanation. All of them are interconnected. Some of them have very similar points. For example, like we have to have WhatsApp discussion, we have to have some other evaluation discussion there, so like in the WhatsApp, or any other things. It's not only about WhatsApp, it's also about some just connection to the chat box with your students, with everyone around. As you can see, if we're talking about discussion, it's like live discussion. It's like when we're talking to each other face to face. So we are using Zoom, Google Meet, I don't know, Microsoft Teams, whatever you are using for, like what is more providing to you. The same is for the other social media. I know that there are some teachers that are using Discord. I'm personally don't use it. I'm not using it, but still there. Google Classroom for evaluation, some other evaluation and assessment facilities that you just listened in the previous webinar, so probably it could be there too. Assignments from the lecturer, from the teacher, some precise tasks there. And also, what I wanted to say, that sometimes emergency remote learning and emergency remote teaching are different because it could be asynchronous. What I mean by that, the breaking in the internet, the breaking in the connection, and suddenly the student is disconnected from your lesson, but they say that they cannot be connected, but they can get the links from you, and you can send them the same plan, the same links that you have there, just in the chat box, the one that you have to be there. So just please remember, in the terms of distance learning and ERT, we are a little bit more flexible, and we provide more blended kind of learning. I think that you have all faced this particular feature when we are having, like, for example, one student in Czech Republic, the other student in Poland, third student in Kyiv region somewhere, and everyone has different connections, and you plan to play, I don't know, like some tests on Na Urok, or maybe Quizlet, or maybe something else, and you cannot do that. That's why it's really important to plan for yourself. Aha, if it works, then we are doing this. If it doesn't work, we're doing this in the individual one. So we have to be flexible in all this part there. In the synchronous, we have immediate reaction. In the asynchronous, we can have a little pause and give them some time for self-regulating, for the speed of learning and everything. And it depends on a lot of things there. So also on the psychological state of the student, also on the result and on the task that you have set them for before that. Of course, in the synchronous ERT, it's much more interaction and much more fun than in the asynchronous. However, it could be in the asynchronous as well, for different kind of things there. So, but we have to blend them together and remember that we have to take advantage of both of these approaches. So please remember about this precisely. When we talk about the interaction patterns, I'm pretty sure all of you are aware about the student-teacher interaction, student-student interaction, student-students interaction, right? So like in this way. I really like this scheme, but this scheme was connected not to the student-teacher, it was connected to the student game or player game thing there. Why is it so important? Because the game, as you can see, is considered like a task. The game is considered like together there, and the game is like around. And we, the teachers, we are surrounding our students and we are looking at them all the time. You know, like even if they think that we are not watching, we are still watching there. I will explain what I mean by this later a little bit. So you can see that we have got the connection between students and the teachers, students and one student, many students with many students, one group interconnecting together. These are just simple parts. But what I want to accent a little bit more is about this particular thing, student versus task or students versus task. So you can, it's quite similar to PBL, yeah, so like, but I still want to put it as the interaction pattern here, because right now in our realia, in the distance and remote learning, sometimes this is the interaction that they get. Sometimes there are two sister and brother sitting and doing the task that they can do right now, but they cannot interconnect with you, like with the camera or something like that, but you hear that they are doing stuff there. Or if you have the individual student who fell out of the lesson or he dropped out or something, he needs some task, you send it to him, and then instantly you can see result on the Google Classroom, on the Word wall, anywhere that you have out there. So it's a lot of interaction patterns there. These ones, like, I just want to accent a little bit more on this part. When we talk with you about all these like interactions, students need to feel that they are heard, and it's like extremely important for that matter. We talk with you right now about the first need for general recognition. This is the need that must be met in every single lesson. Because, you know, like sometimes students, and there you can see like, I have had the wonderful discussion with some of the students out there in one of the state schools in my city in Poltava, and they have provided me some feedback about like what is happening, like what is the interaction that they had, and what is the type that they thought must be a little bit changed. So one of them is the need of general recognition. A lot of teachers are tired, a lot of teachers are burnt out, and it's quite natural and it's quite all right to be burnt out, to be tired. However, you see what the student told me? I had to drop out of the lesson because I was ignored by the teacher. The person wanted to interact. The person wanted to be noticed, but they couldn't. And that's very unfortunate. So, and that's why we as teachers must understand, so here we see that one, we see that one. Even when not all students can answer, you can just say, well, Natasha, thank you, I see your point. Can you write it down to me? Or can you send the photo to me of the task? Or can you share with the other partner somewhere there in the breakout room? Or something like that. You have to recognize even the, like a little effort, and then the interaction between you, between class and between the students, it will be much, much more productive. For that matter of fact. If we're talking about the second one, it's instructional communication. Obviously, this is like we are asking questions, ICQs, CCQs, depending on the tasks out there. But if we're talking about the asynchronous part even, so you have got another comment. We can ask any question we have, and he answers gladly and patiently. It's very nice. So it means if you are open to communication with your students, it's great. Of course, you have to put some boundaries. So, for example, you can text me starting from, I don't know, like 4 till 9 in the 9 o'clock in the evening, and like you will be openly answering everything, because like to get the messages at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's not very fun, isn't it? So, like that's why. Please be aware that they might ask some instructional communication questions as well. What I mean. For example, I had a group of elementary teenagers, they were I think about 10 of them. It was last year, and it was really fun when we were discussing, I don't remember, I think it was the beginning of present perfect. I explained there was a scheme, they started doing the task, and then one of the students just simply asks, can you please explain to me one more time? Of course, I asked somebody to explain it to her first, but then she asked no, please, can it be you? And I start again with absolutely same words, with absolutely same schemes, and she gets it. So probably sometimes students just need a little bit more extra attention from you, a little bit more extra thing there. So it's just one part of it. If we're talking with you about the guidance and facilitation, this is it's actually connected to the question that right now I see in the chat, that you are kind of leading the students through that. So there was an assignment in the course that I found difficult and spoke to the teacher. In the response, she extended the deadline for all of us. So for instance, if you have got the primary school, right? So in the primary class, they are very young learners, you have to guide them, you have to facilitate them. Please remember that online classes for the children must be much more active than during the students in the classroom there. So you have to guide them through, you have to go through the first point, then to the second point, and please remember stirring and also calming activities. Again, stirring and calming activities, and you guide them through. How to do this with the primary students? You have to set the routine. So that's the most important part. And if you set the routine, they feel safe, they feel that you facilitate them with the project, that you guide them through the project, but they are doing the project and learning the language by themselves. So that's why it's quite important for this matter. If we're talking about the other stuff there, so the fourth point is going to be the social intimacy. So I really like this point about the social intimacy, because we start with small icebreakers, compliment each other. We start the lesson with the short introductions about everyone's day. You can spice it up. You can take different questions, why are you proud of yourself today? Why today was so amusing? What is your apricot? What is your onion for today? And it's absolutely different things there. And it's not only social intimacy. You must be genuinely interested in your students. I understand it when there are 30 students sitting at you, looking at you, not even turning on the cameras, but by which I'm absolutely against. You have to turn the cameras on when you are having the online classes. Otherwise, it's not happening. At least it's the rule in my classroom out there. So, and we have to give them a little comment. Oh, Sasha, you had a little haircut. It looks nice on you. Oh, you got a new hamster, my dear. So this is cute. It's sitting behind you. Of course, don't make it last for 15 minutes, for 10 minutes, for an hour of your lesson or something. Just a little comment. And believe me, when you are showing the interest, when you are genuine with your students, they will be gladly listening to you. The attention will be spread a little bit more. And if you actually open just a little bit glimpse of your personal life, then it will be just fine for you. So because they will understand that you're a real person too, and they will listen to you even more than to the other teachers of other subjects there. So that's why social intimacy is quite important for this. If we're talking with you about instructional support, this is kind of actually connected to the Q&A part, but in here we're talking about more instructions to the precise tasks. I'm not scared to ask the questions. So sometimes I think we all have such colleagues, or we had such teachers there who we actually were scared to ask, and it was did you get it, do you understand, and you're yes, а що надо робити? So something like that can happen, and because brains of the children, brains of the teenagers, brains of the adult students might switch off. Maybe they were just looking at the Telegram chats there. So maybe there was some bombing and there was or maybe not the bombing, let's talk about something more positive. So some territories were liberated already, and there they have the family, and they are quite excited, and they saw it and they didn't hear you. So that's why to provide extra instructions would be quite all right. And it's not about the rules. Here we're talking precisely about instructions. ICQs is the answer always like that, but don't overdo them, because sometimes students might look at you and just are you stupid or something? You just told us that we have 3 minutes. So, but again, they will not say this to you, but it must be felt through the atmosphere, through the rapport that you have got through it. And the last point that I want to make about this interaction type is the instructor's presence. I really like this comment about I feel that they see me and I'm more than a square in a Zoom. If the student feels needed, if the student feels that his needs are met, then they will be with the cameras. Then they will be more interactive. Even when you have the special set of rules, I mean, the camera on, you are muted when you are not asked, you have the virtual background, but please make it appropriate, and etc., etc., and they feel that they will be heard, everything will be smooth. You will get the results that you want. You will get the thing that you are actually looking for, some interaction type of thing there. So there are lots of things, like lots of little details, especially if we're talking about the preteens and teens. It's just like the best age out there, and you are there for them. You are there for them to try, to go on, to go further for the best of theirs. If we're talking about the other tips that were suggested by the students, again, this is the California students that they were asked during the COVID, like what they liked during the emergency state learning and about the remote learning. So they liked asynchrony, they liked flexibility, they liked to have cameras on. They had to have little breaks in the lesson. So they don't like to have Zoom lectures, they like to have it more like face-to-face. However, you can record yourself and put yourself on the YouTube and it will be just fine. So again, you can see this little thing, you will get this presentation, that's why you can go through a little bit more details to this. But if we're talking a bit more about the practical parts, so we're going to talk with you a little bit about the boards. One of the newest boards is the Zoom whiteboard. It's really cool for the interaction between the students, and it's good for the interaction of the synchronous learning. So like, as I told you before, I'm not using Google Meet or I'm not using the Microsoft Teams, and you can find a lot of other analogies, but Zoom whiteboard is really cool. First of all, it is free. Second of all, it is saved for the rest of your life there, and all the people can be interacting with this. It's the newest feature, you can look it up. It's near, it is actually, if you have the Russian version of Zoom, it's called Доска объявлений, like at least I have it like this, and then you press on it and there's the Zoom whiteboard. It's the same as Mira, but it's provided by Chinese government. Yeah, I'm just joking, but still about Chinese government, but still it's really cool for the interaction, for building up the little projects and everything. However, I'm not the fan of Mira, I have never been, and I have not actually tested it enough, I mean about Zoom whiteboard. But one thing that I can tell you at once, that those who want to interact freely in this Zoom whiteboard and to have access to it after the lesson as well, they have to be a registered user of Zoom. It can be done through Google account, I think, like you know already how to do it. So, but it can be done, and here we have not so many, I'd say, facilities for the children. I mean, for the young learners, this is more for the adults and for the teenagers, probably for preteens, because they have like some notes there, but still it's quite possible. Right now, if we're talking with you about some other boards out here, we're going to talk about my love out here. It's the Jamboard. Na Urok has a separate, as far as I remember, there was a man providing activities on the Jamboard. It's like free. It doesn't have any unnecessary stuff. It can be interactive in pairs. It can be interactive in third, in groups, individually, whatever. On the screenshots, you actually can see some of my students from the beginning of the year. They had given their permission for the photos, so like everything is fine there, right? So they were telling about their summers, what they did, what they saw, their photos, what they actually opened up for themselves, and they were discussing it in peers, in the breakout rooms, and you can actually go and look and see how they are discussing, and you can see, like, for example, over here, so here are two people discussing, here are two people discussing, there's one person just looking for something, I don't know. So, and all the rest of it, please take a look at the Jamboard. It's much easier than it seems, and it is much simpler to use. The kids love it, the teenagers love it, and I think that it is much better than Mirror. Again, because it doesn't have unnecessary things. Plus it's free, plus you can provide the access to it as a usual Google document. So simple as it is. If we're talking about the other parts here, I want to show you one more, a wonderful thing, which is called auto-draw. It can be used with the young learners, it can be used with the adult learners, it can be used with lots of things, but take a look what I want to show it to you here. So, first of all, when you open it up, you can see that there is a white, like, paper, basically. You can change the size of the paper the way you want. So, basically, you can use it like this. You have the white paper. Then you always, and I think, like, I'm pretty sure that you do the same thing as I do. So you're taking some color, for instance, black, and you say to your children, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not the artist, but try to guess, what am I drawing? And you're going to start like this, and something there, and there will be the eye, and there will be the nose here, right? And they will be like, oh, but that's a lion, but it's very not nice lion or something, it's very crooked there. Yeah, that's why we can use here the auto draw. You can use here again the circle, you can go with something here, you can go with the eye, the nose, and voila! You're the artist. This is a wonderful tool to do it with your kids, to do it with the teenagers, for the storytelling, for providing a lot of different stuff that you want for the students. One more thing which is really cool about that, so they have drawn there, so probably they have written also like lion, something like that. So it's just a really cool part in this way. So you can use it for dictations. Take a look, we have got a type part, and you could say, aha, so let it be safari or something there. So then it's gonna be something like, I don't know, desert or whatever you have it here. Yes, so like depending on the topic, of course, they can type, they can write, they can fill it in with some other color. So let's put it as a purple, I don't know, like for some reason. Oh, that's not pretty color, so let's put it back to white, right? So like it's just something there. So this is one of the cases. Another thing that you need to remember, that you can actually move your objects here, like whatever you want. So you want to put lion over here and stuff. And how to show it to you, how to show it to the teacher. Remember, we talked with you about interaction in the Telegram chats. We're talking with you about interaction with the other students there. So we have over here 3 little lines. You put them there, you put share, and just here will be a link. Just for some time it's preparing, you see, copy a link, and if we're opening it up, so like you will see this particular picture. You will see who is that. So like if you're using this for the dictations, you can actually ask them, just don't forget to write your name. Well, of course, they at first will forget about it, but don't forget to write your name. If they accidentally close this this auto-draw board on their stuff there, on their computer, they can reopen it and it will be saved. The progress will be saved there. So if the kid doesn't provide it, you will be able actually to ask the parents, can you please do the screenshot and send it to me, and it will be here and here and here. So this is just like one another thing here. If we talk about this like auto draw, again, it's like one of my favorite activities. And again, teenagers, tweens, preteens, like adults sometimes, like depending on what you want. So again, depending on your goals of the lesson, depending what you are about to share with them and what result you want to keep for this. Then I want to show you another thing. I have been talking about this, I don't know, like about like millions of times. It has similar kind of to the Sims provider. So like we're talking with you right now about the emoji maker. You can use it for English, you can use it for emotions, you can use it for the stories and everything. Just make sure that it actually is working with you like right now, because like sometimes it is a little bit glitchy. So you can see that you have got a face, you have got, I don't know, like some eyes, you have got some mustache and some like other eyes. Let it be here. So let it be like that, like an evil Cossack here. It's a great tool for the kids. It's a great tool for interacting with them about their emotions or something. Sometimes they might interconnect with you and tell you like, oh, I don't feel quite good, I'm sorry, I don't want to be here right now, so like let's talk about something else. You can start the activity with this, and they will be like showing you like that, and you can ask him, what about this little smiley face, why is he so, I don't know, like angry or whatever, and he would be telling like, Mom didn't give him the, I don't know, like ice cream, whatever. So like something like that might happen here. So just in case for you, it's a good tool for yourself to use during the classes. It's again like a filler, like a icebreaker, like a warmer. It can be used for any kind of stuff, plus it gives a little bit more interaction. They can do it in pairs, because here you can actually create one more boy here or girl, so like they will be sitting beside you. Make a story, make the, I think that you know this one, like guess the cartoon, guess the sentence by the emoji. And here you can use any of those, like there are lots of them. And it's just like a wonderful tool to use. Again, kids, teens, twins, like all the other age categories in this case. One more thing is that I want you to introduce you to you. It's like the Voki Hangouts. You don't need to buy it to use it. It's just like a really cool stuff. What I want to show you is the one that was prepared for you today by yours truly. And here we have, I hope you work. Yeah.
Everyone is Ukrainian these days.
Everyone is Ukrainian these days. So please remember that you can add in here absolutely any avatar. So you can create absolutely random one. So you can put here as the randomizer, choose, I don't know, like Ukrainian, choose like, I don't know, like Medusa or someone there. So like, oh no, let's choose another one. So let it be the Japanese lady there. So you can actually use the monsters here too. So like it could be, I don't know, like this Heracles or something like that, Hercules or someone like that. But what's cool about that is that you can actually type in any words that you want them to say to your students. It can be for the storytelling, it can be for the short dictations, it can be for the differences that are out there. For example, you could say, happy teacher is a happy person. Let it be like that. So like we will be happy with you. Let's try. And
happy teacher is a happy person.
And you see, like he was speaking in the language, like in the person's name. So like let's try James' voice.
Happy teacher is a happy person.
And what if we are using the robot voice, for example?
Happy teacher is a happy person.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Like that is what you can use it for the every single other word. It's like the Voki. Yeah, so it's a really cool creator, and you can change the backgrounds here. You can change the clothes. You can make the stories. You can tell like what's going on there, and actually you can save it. And however, as you could see, like from my dino, which was in the beginning over here, so to save it up to your computer, you have to register, and to register you have to pay something, but for the lesson it's just more than enough. It's really cool one. So yeah, you will get all the links to these websites like in the end of the presentation, plus you will have it like a little bit later there. Right, so this is the Voki, and it's like really similar to the storytelling, to the other guys here, and it's really cool resource for the kids. Like I do recommend it, they love it, and it's just like one of the best things there. Another thing that I want to show it to you is my love for the rest of my life. It's the interactive presentations, but oh surprise, not in the Canva, but in the Genially. Genially is a website where you can create these particular presentations or find the ready-made ones. Personally, I use the ready-made ones. Sometimes I modify them during the classes there. So, but it depends what you want. Like I want to show you just one of them. The one that we're using with the little kids. It's very interactive, and you remember that we have to set the routine with the kids. Every single lesson, we are starting with them. What day is it today? Today is Thursday. What season is today? Today is summer. Are you sure? Oh no, it's autumn, and etc, etc. This is not made by me. It is made by somebody there who was in Spain. How do I know that? I go to this little slide, and you can see that here they have something like Spanish language instead of Ukrainian. But it doesn't doesn't matter at this point because you don't go there. Here you can actually add YouTube links just for the sake of the revelation there, right? So like you are looking at the different songs if you need to refresh and stuff. You can create it on your own. It's $6 a month, if I'm not mistaken, the lowest package there. And it's very interactive and you create your own. However, on this website, it is really sad moment about this search. The search is awful. It's even worse than on the word wall. So that's why sometimes if you want to do it, you are just going, for example, present simple, and there will be like generally, yes, so like you see that I have looked it up there, so I open the first one, and let's see, so this creator has it like this, let's play, it will be the presentation, there will be something like a test and stuff. What's cool about this presentation is that sometimes you can make it in the form of the board games, you can make it in the form of the passport and stuff like that. So for instance, I found this wonderful game about like going to London. You see, my name is Dasha, for example. I was born on the 1st of April. I am Ukrainian, of course, and I live in Poltava, Ukraine. So like this is just a little part, they are writing it and you are doing it together with them. And you can see that here is a lot of different pictures. Here are some interactivities there. I want to find it here. So like you can add here some reading, true or false. Also, I think like here you can add, yes, ISL collective modes there. So it's just really fun and it's a lot of things going on. Really cool one, genially. Please look it up. There are lots of them. So like you can see that it looks as if you are running the presentation, but oh no, this is by somebody. There are a lot of options. For example, you could say about the escape room. You can see the quest. You can see the test. You can see just the interactive presentation when we're talking about the calendar, about the way they do, about the way they stay here. So like it's just like a little guide in this particular way. When we talk with you about, generally, again, I can sing greatest songs to this, and I do recommend to use it to everyone, because it's like, even for free, you can find a lot of great resources for online, and reuse them, and set the routine, and everything will be fine, because you will set the result for your students. You know what you will get by the end of the class, by the end of the program there. If we talk with you about other stuff there, I really want us to remember about those two things that we are talking with you. It's about the Mentimeter and about the Google Forms. These two particular websites we're using not only just for the sake of the using. Google Forms I used before for the tests. Sometimes right now I'm using more Na Urok, and sometimes the ad forms, it's a little bit different. But Mentimeter is actually a great tool for providing the feedback on the site, or it can be providing for the lesson, like for the rates, you know, like there is something like rate these activities, the hobbies, the one that you like more, the one that you like less, and just around the cases in this particular way. So what I'd like you to do right now, if you have the opportunity, my dear ladies and gentlemen, please get connected to the mentimeter.com. You can go by the QR code here, or you can go to the menti.com and enter the code. And I would like you to write, what do you think about this webinar that we are having with you right now? Any adjective, anything like that. Then I will show you a little bit more of what is it about this particular way. So like, let me put it back with the QR codes. So please get connected and we will see it, look it up for that matter of fact. So you can remember that you're using the phone, you are scanning it, you're showing it in the browser, and you're writing the answer to the question. It will actually be really easy. You can enter as many words as you want. So you can say something like interesting or not interesting, boring, or I don't know, like I will put it submitting here. So just for you to show what's going on. So I have got the interesting part there. So if you want, please join in. You don't need to submit there. Fantastic, interesting, amazing. I'm happy. All right. So like you have the access there. So again, if you didn't have the access to the QR code, take a look at the top. You see menti.com. Use code 23015095, and this will stay with you for a very long time. I'm happy about that. All right, so like we are creating the word cloud. As you can see in the Mentimeter, it's like the slide that we are having with you. It's going with a lot of interactions, so like animations and stuff. You can use it for word clouds. You can use it for the questionnaire. You can use it for the ratings part. So like I want to show you just like another one. So for the teachers, we're going to have mentimeter.com. So not just like menti.com, because menti.com it's more for the children, like I would say for the not for the children, but for the students, for the interviewers, like the one that we're interviewing in this spot. So you can see it here. A lot of helpful facts, a lot of practical activities. Happy about that. 13 people have answered. Wonderful. How to create that? You go to the mentimeter.com, you create a new presentation, you give it a name, any kind of name there. Yes, so and you go to the free part. Again, I'm using the free version of this actual wonderful presentation here. So you will see that you need to use the type. You can use it for the multiple choice, for the word cloud, for the open-ended questions, for the scales, for the ranks, for the different Q&As and stuff like that. However, I'm using the most multiple choice, scales, ranking, and sometimes the open-ended, mostly the word clouds. It's like the best part ever. You enter here the question. So for example, what is your name, right? And basically you write how many entries by participant you can get, and just go on with this. You press present and it will show it to you like this. So like it will show to you like to the full screen. You just press escape so that it can be like that. You might hide the answers while the people are still answering. You see how many people below are answering. So it's 16 people. And then you can show the results there. You can show the instruction. You can show the little comments that you have. Sometimes you can put the picture on top of it and it will be just working for you. It will be just opening up and the people will be just given a lot of feedback, most likely for it. And again, this is just like one of the ways. Please remember why you would like to do this. Why do you want to do this in the other way? Because like it depends. It really depends for different things. For instance, here you could see, I just want to show you real quick about the ratings. So like remember we had social issues in the outcomes and we had to rate, and you can see like we had some discussion around that. It's just really cool activity to have just for yourself, just for the sake of anything around. Google Forms, again, you can use it for the surveys, you can use it for the tests, you can use it for the different, like simple activities here. So just another thing there. If we talk about the other stuff, you can go to the QR code that you will see in the other corner. There, yes. So like, and it will get you to the Digo. It will take you to the note where you will see much more theoretical part if you want to dig into the social interaction between students, between teachers there. Yeah, and there will be also the links to all the resources that I have been talking with you today. I mean about the Woki, about the emoji maker, about a lot of other things, and just there are some contacts of mine, Євгенія Костенко everywhere, Євгенія Костенко on Facebook, and my email. But if you want to contact me, please don't get offended if I do respond to you quite long, because sometimes I do have lessons. During the lessons I don't respond, and if I read it I might forget about this. So like, please text me once again if I haven't answered your little question there. So please feel free right now to get me the questions. By the way, we all have got the power of studies, the power of teaching, even in the ERT, emergency remote teaching, not just remote teaching there. So please feel free to ask the questions. I'm quite waiting for them. So, because like I think like there might be some, and I will be happy to give to you some comments on that. Yay, I'm happy that it was useful, right? So lots of things there. Okay, yeah. Right, so like again, there are lots of resources, there are lots of things around. I'm not showing you also like a lot of other educational games, something like, I don't know, Curious George, or there are a lot of other games connected to the phonics, like readers. Recently I have found, like if we're talking about the younger learners, I think that I can show it to you. It's ABC Linguist. I hope that most of you have seen it already, and like I hope that it was shown already for the Noosh, because it's like a wonderful resource. You can see that I don't have such little students, but you see alphabet, something's wrong there, right? So like we've got a lot of different guys there. For instance, we are learning I, right? And we can and we have got
igloo,
right,
ill, Indian.
and I think like you can catch what I mean by this. So just like reading another phonics part, yeah. So and it's absolutely free. Moreover, it's Ukrainian.
Alphabet.
Ah, yes, so like that's a good sound there. Right, so but it's really cool. I saw such a thing on the Oxford Phonics World website, and I'm pretty happy that Ukrainians have done it as well. And I do like that in here they again don't have anything unnecessary. They have everything that is needed, just to the point, just to the later part. Another part that I want to show to you is like, if we're talking about the Jamboards again, there are so many of them that you can use. Like, I just showed you some of the little things. I can show you, for instance, Academy Star Imperative. Yeah, we have got the beginning, let, and they know already, let's stay at home. Yeah, so like, oh, let's play basketball and stuff. Then they are spread into pairs and they're doing, so like, stay safe, we're putting it here, dance for the imperative, listen for the imperative. And you can move them again, so don't break, so you don't break it, don't run, don't scream, and others. Lots of things, you can do it. Again, there is a separate webinar about Jamboard on the Na Urok, so you can actually go on for that and try to, like, feel free to watch it. I think like it's somewhere there on the YouTube channel too. So yeah, if you've got again any more questions, please, I'm having like 1 more minute for us to join, and hopefully that all of the links would be useful to you. Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, I'm happy that you loved it. Yeah, so, and I do hope that these were quite useful links to you. Please feel free to contact me if you need any of those extra links or something like that. But on Digo you can find it, or by this QR code. You will find it somewhere on the somewhere on your email, I think, or on your account. It will be provided with the materials of this conference or intense course there. And I'll see you probably sometime soon. So please don't forget to have the power, and you will be the power of everything around. So just, yeah, feel free. And stay safe, please. All right, so like it's just a lot of thing there. So because like, again, don't forget to go to the shelter if there is the air alert in your region. So it's quite important. So have a nice evening, stay safe, and see you very, very soon. Bye!